Good morning. I'm Cher Johnston. Welcome to my happy place. We're going to work on the Stitch Dictionary this morning. This is a pattern that I made that I have available for you to download for free from my Ko-fi site. It's also on my Facebook group. Join me there. And don't forget to hit the like button and hype the video. Helps a lot. Today we're going to do a chevron stitch and a couple of variations. I wanted to show you in this book first. As always, there will be links in the description directly, so you can go directly to the stitches. So this is a chevron stitch, and here she did 2 rows back to back, and then she did beaded rows back to back in the center. That's kind of cool. Then she did a chevron, a double chevron. I'm not going to put that in my book. She did a fringed chevron. Now we did a fringed buttonhole, so I'm not going to do that. She has a chevron. She calls this a half chevron, but that's a half chevron, half Cretan stitch. I'm going to put that one in there, and I'm going to call it a half chevron. Yeah. Then and then here she has some examples. This is a half chevron back face to face with an Algerian eye in the center. That's kind of cool. And this is a half chevron back to back. So those are kind of cool. You can probably also see all these on her website. This is a chevron that's half herringbone. I'm going to put that in my book. And then there's a chevron squared. And there's some pretty pictures of the squared chevron. You can put those in your book if you'd like. I'm not gonna put all those. Here's another one that's stepped. You basically do a chevron stitch here and then a larger one to offset. Again, I'm not going to put those in my book. We're about halfway through this book right now, and I'm making a list of other stitches that I want to put in my book that are not in her book. So we'll be doing those. I'm using today this 12 ply silk, and it's very, very thick. When you take it apart, it's like there's like 3 strands that are 4 ply each. So I have 4 strands here that I also I ironed it out so that it'd be easier to use. So the chevron stitch, I'm going to start here up at this dot, and I just put some dots in with my dot grid for the V's. So I'm going to go from that dot to this dot, and then I'm going to go back just a bit, 1/8 of an inch or so. And then I'm going to go forward 1/8 of an inch or so past that dot and back to the dot. And it makes like a V with a stand. I'm going to go in the dot. I drew too many dots here, huh? Go back. Then I'm going to go forward past the dot and back to the dot. I want that above the line. And then again into the dot and back. And then past the dot and back. And then I'll just stop talking so that I can speed through this. Okay, now I have some same silk 12 ply, but it's a different color is all. And I'm going to do a half chevron. I'm going to call this, I'm going to change that and put chevron / Cretan, because that's what it is. So the bottom is just the same as the Cretan's, the chevron stitch above. Just wanted to let that plain go by. And then the Cretan half is going to go down from the bottom, go down about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. No, that's 1/4 of an inch. Whatever. Some small piece. And then back down to do the chevron piece. And then up here. For the Cretan half. I should have mentioned, when you do this section, you want the thread to go underneath the needle. And then for this section, I want the thread to go on top of the needle. And then for this section, it's going to go below the needle. Okay, new thread. Again, it's the same type, just different color. This one's green. I just kind of felt like, you know. Okay, I have dots. I don't know if you can see the dots. Again, we're going to do the bottom part is the chevron stitch. And the top part is a half herringbone, which goes like this. You start this direction just like the regular chevron, but I'm going to go back here with the dot in the middle, and then down here, and then there's the herringbone part. There's the chevron part. There's the herringbone part. And there we go. That's our chevron stitch and variations. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.